Welcome back to Black News Tonight. In Indonesia, Abdulrahman Ibrahim, who was a Nigerian consular officer working in Jakarta, was detained on the street in broad daylight. He was later assaulted and manhandled by several immigration officials. We have footage of the incident, and I do want to warn you that the video is graphic.
I can't breathe!
No,
I can't breathe! I can't breathe!
Huh?
The Nigerian Minister of Foreign Affairs, Jeffrey Onyema, summoned his ambassador in Jakarta for immediate consultation, and he demanded that the Indonesian authorities take severe and appropriate actions against the immigration officials involved in the assault.
There was absolutely no justification whatsoever for this treatment, for this kind of behavior against not only a diplomat, a Nigerian diplomat, but even if it had taken place against any Nigerian citizen, it was totally unacceptable.
In response, the Indonesian ambassador to Nigeria, Usra Harahap, apologized on behalf of the entire Indonesian government, also stating that the officials involved had since come to the Nigerian embassy to apologize to the ambassador and the diplomat concerned. While that's the treatment and repercussion for attacking a black man from Nigeria, Indonesia's treatment of its indigenous black population in West Papua has been one of colonial suppression, and that's been taking place for more than 50 years. Located to the north of Australia and sitting on the western half of the island of New Guinea, West Papua is home to Asia's largest rainforest and oceanic biodiversity. A former Dutch colony, it was declared part of Indonesia by a 1969 referendum, a referendum that was considered rigged by many Papuans since only about 1,000 hand-picked representatives were allowed to vote. Since then, the nation's indigenous population, which mostly identify as black, have been calling for autonomy. At the forefront for independence struggle is the umbrella organization, United Liberation Movement for West Papua, whose leader, Benny Wenda, lives in exile in London. Today, I'm joined by Timi Frank. He is the recently appointed ambassador to East Africa and the Middle East for the United Liberation Movement for West Papua. He is based in Abuja, the capital of Nigeria, but tonight he joins us from Atlanta, Georgia. My brother, thank you so much for joining me on Black News Tonight. Many of our audience members might not know much about West Papua. Can you just give us a sense of its history and its people?
Thank you very much, and I want to use this opportunity to, thank the Black News and said, it is very important to have an avenue like this where the Black people have the opportunity to speak, not just in America, but in the entire Black continent of the world. I think we appreciate this opportunity. You can see clearly the West Papuan people are people who have been agitating for over 50 years, for their liberation, for their freedom. But it's just quite unfortunate that Indonesia, that is the neighboring country to them, has decided to take the opportunity to oppress and suppress the West Papuans, not because, not because it's not their right, but it's because, they are black people that is residing in the Asia part of the world. And the people of West Papua have been in this struggle for liberation, for their freedom, for a donkey years. And as we speak, their voice today is not being heard because the Indonesian government has been able to oppress them from their, right, from their, from what they believe in. And today it is very sad that the entire world, has been keeping quiet, for what the West Papuan people today are passing through. And I thank God, Venezuela today has decided to take the struggle of the West Papuan to the next level. And that is why he has so much confidence on some of us that are not West Papuan, but for the fact that we are black, we are one. And he decided to appoint some of us as ambassadors of West Papuan so we can come and support the West Papuan people and agitate, for the, it's not just for the West Papuan, but it's just for the black race. And you can see clearly that the Indonesian, has shown that They don't like black people. They will do everything to suppress the voice of black people. They will continue to harass, and intimidate and oppress the black people. So from what has happened to the Nigerian today in Indonesia shows it's not just the people of West Papua alone. It shows today there is black crisis going on, not just even in Indonesia, but there is black crisis all over the world where black people have been oppressed. Even in America, we've seen so many scenarios where even the blacks have been oppressed. So this is the time.
Let me ask you,
Timmy,
let me jump in for a second. No, absolutely. And I know even the idea of saying, Papuan lives matter has become part of the cry for justice that we see in West Papua, and it's quite powerful. Another protest placard, another protest sign that I've seen in the protests is one that says, "I'm not a monkey." Why that sign? What does that mean?
It's because the Indonesian people has been calling the blacks in West Papua monkeys. A black man today cannot move freely in West Papua without being oppressed by the Indonesians. There are videos that are shown clearly where you see the military beating people on the streets when they are even doing a very peaceful protest to demand for their rights to have their freedom. There is nothing wrong. There are so many scenarios that have shown clearly that, the people of West Papua have decided to say we are not comfortable with this marriage that tied we and the Indonesian government and the Indonesian people. We want to go, we want to have our independence, we want to be free. There is nothing wrong, but because the Indonesian people today, even the blacks, let me tell you, even in Indonesia, there are blacks Indonesians, but nobody hear about them, nobody even see them. But I'm telling you clearly,
there are black Indonesian
citizens.
No, that
yes,
that is an important. That's an important point you make, right? That there are black Indonesian.
Yes,
so help me understand something, and I'm glad you made that point, because I think it's important for viewers and people all around the country to know that are citizens.
There are black people that are citizens and that's important but nobody hear about them because they are black.
What?
The only offense today is when you're a black man, nobody seems to respect you. They treat you like monkeys. They torture you. They do all kind of atrocities. For example, tell me why, for the first time in the world, we are seeing where a diplomat, somebody that is working for the Nigerian embassy in Indonesia, can be treated like a pig, like a monkey, truly. It is because they did not see him like a diplomat. They are seeing him like monkey. So for us, whatever apology the Indonesian ambassador today is apologizing that the Nigerian people should forgive him for what the Indonesian people have done. That is not enough, because this
so what I'm hearing you say is that the Indonesian government is treating people. Absolutely. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to jump in. Everybody, there's a slight delay here because of our connection. That's why there's a little bit of crosstalk here. I apologize for it. But there's you're saying that the Indonesian government treats people from West Papua a certain way, but you're saying that they also treat Nigerian diplomats that way. They treat black people wherever they are from around the world in a certain way that is racist, that reflects white supremacy.
Once you're a black man in the eyes of Indonesian people, you are like monkey. Whether you are from Nigeria, you are from Kenya, you are from Senegal, you are from Guinea, you are from Ivory Coast, you are from any part of the world, even being black American.
You're a monkey.
Once you get into the hands of Indonesian, I can tell you clearly, you are like monkey to them. We've seen, this is not the first time they are treating black people like this in Indonesia. And I think this time around, I'm using this opportunity to warn the government and the people of Indonesia that the era of treating black people like slaves, like monkey, that era is gone.
Let me ask you a question, Timi. Timi, let me ask you a question. There's in different situations, there are excuses or reasons that governments give. In some countries, they say, oh, we're repressing because we're trying to protect our national sovereignty. Other people say, oh, it's a security issue, or oh, those people are terrorists. What excuse, what reason does the Indonesian government give, if any, to justify its behavior?
The Indonesian government does not have anything to give. The Indonesian government wants to ride on the people of West Papua to collect the resources that is in their land. And in doing that is to continue to oppress the people from speaking their minds, for trying to say we want to go. Let me tell you today, there is so many mineral resources today in the small land of the West Papuans. Today it is the resources of the West Papuan that they are using to develop Indonesia. Indonesia has a lot of oil in their resources, in their land. They have gold, they have diamonds. You can go and do research to all of this, I'm telling you. So Indonesia today, they've seen West Papua land like a farmland for them. So to them, these people are black monkeys. They don't need these resources. These resources belong to us. So we must therefore continue to treat them like monkeys, like slaves, so we can continue to take whatever that is in that resources to develop our land and impoverish the people of West Papua. Today in West Papua, let me tell you, if you come out on the streets to protest peacefully, the Indonesian military and the security agents of the Indonesian government will bamboozle the protesters, will arrest a lot of West Papuan people today in jail in West Papua. A lot of them. Thousands of them.
Timi, I only have about 30 seconds left, but I want to ask you one more quick question in the 30 seconds I have left. West Papua has rich biodiversity. It has untapped rainforests. The Indonesian government obviously doesn't want to give up control of the region. Do you think the primary reason, aside from racism, is the fact that it doesn't want to give up these riches part of the reason why they won't allow for the kind of sovereignty and self-determination that you're asking for?
Because of the resources, definitely don't want to give up West Papua for them to have their freedom. But we want to let them know they are not God and they will not stop what the people is agitating for. And I can assure you, by the grace of God, anytime from now, the freedom of West Papua people will be given to them. And we are using this opportunity to appeal to the American government, to the British government, to the French government, to EU, to AU, to rise up to rescue the people of West Papua, especially the black nation. Because whatever thing that is happening to the people of West Papua as black people, it affects the people in America. Once you're a black man, it affects you in Nigeria, in Ghana, in Sierra Leone, or in any part of the world. So the black people in West Papua today, they are not alone in this struggle. Some of us have decided to say we are going to agitate. This is the real and the true Black Lives Matters. If it is true that the Black Lives Matters, this is the time for us to show love to the people of West Papua. This is the time for us to
absolutely. I'm so glad you said that, Ambassador Timi. I'm so glad you said that. One of the things we've been celebrating here in the United States for the entire month of August, as we do every year, is Black August, where we talk about black resistance, black struggle. And thinking about that globally is critical. And so for all of us talking about Black Lives Matter, they don't just matter in the United States of America. They matter in Mexico, They matter in Japan, and they certainly matter in the continent of Africa and throughout the diaspora. So Ambassador Timi, thank you very much for educating all of us on this important issue. We'll be sure to have you back very, very soon. Everybody stay with me here on Black News Tonight. I got some news from the digital streets that you don't want to miss. Tennis superstar Serena Williams is going into a new venture. I want you to find out what it is.